Hi everyone, congratulations, you're engaged. So the next step is to come on over to the US and get married. How do you do that? Well, you fill out the I-129 Fiance or K1 visa, which is a visa that allows a foreigner to enter the US to get married within 90 days on their road to becoming a US citizen, green card holder, or whatever you want to do. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible. It's going to be a simple video. It's basically, I'm going to list everything that I submitted. I did everything myself. It is so easy. It's so easy. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need to make things complicated. It's extremely easy to do. So I'm just going to read off the cover letter that I submitted to the immigration. And if you'd like, I can email you guys a copy. You guys can just leave your personal email in the comments below, and I'll send you my cover letter. It's simple as that. So my cover level is pretty cover letter, excuse me. That's pretty straightforward. But I'm just gonna go ahead and list off in what order I submitted everything. So the way I organized my packet. So this is from top to bottom. Okay. So the first thing I had, of course, is a check for $340. I did this back in what 2015, 2016 is when I did it. The fee might be different now, but basically the first thing I had was a paper clip of the check for the fee for the I-129 application. Below that was the form G1145 electronic notification. Basically, you submit that if you want to receive electronic notifications. I think you can get email and text messaging. And then below that was the I-129F application itself. Make sure you fill as much as you can out. You can leave everything blank that doesn't apply, or you can just write NA, non-applicable, but I just left stuff blank. Like, we didn't have a child that we were petitioning, so I just left that portion blank. We didn't have an interpreter because she spoke English. So the application, and then under that I have listed here I-129F Supplement Part 2, Addendum to Question 34A, Meeting in Person, yada yada. And then under that I have the Form G325A with a passport photo, one for myself, the petitioner, and then another Form G325A with a passport photo for the beneficiary, or the foreigner who's going to come to the U.S. Then under that, I have a copy of my birth certificate, just scanned. You don't have to give them your original. And then I had a copy of my fiance at the time's passport underneath that. And then next on the list is a photocopy of both mine and her passport. The front with our names, pictures and country of origin, and then I photocopied all the stamps that you get from immigration when I visit the Philippines or wherever you're traveling to visit your fiance as proof. I know right now it's hard because of the pandemic, you can't see your fiance, but if you can photocopy pages of your passport, that's proof of physically meeting in person. Okay, that's going to be your benefit. Underneath the passport is letter of intent to marry. You gotta have this because basically you're writing a letter that says, yes, my name is Shondell DeWire, intend to get married to such and such upon arrival into the United States. You need two, one for the petitioner and then one for the foreigner. Make sure they're signed. Original signature. Don't sign it and then, well, I don't know if it's allowed. You can try. A digital signature, like your fiance in a foreign country signs their letter of intent and then photocopies and emails it to you. I don't know if that's legit, because what we did was she signed her letter of intent. Any documents that I needed original signature from her, she signed, printed a copy over in the Philippines, she signed it, and then she just sent it to me LBC. And I got it, submitted it with the packet. So letter of intent for both, again, the petitioner, the U.S. citizen, and then the foreigner. And then after that this is the important part, this is the big part. This is proof of having met in person in the past 2 years. They give 2 years leeway. I think that's pretty generous because, you know, circumstances or whatever, especially now during the pandemic. But here is when you have your evidence of your relationship. So photos. I know that's usually the biggest one. Photos of you guys together. You don't want too many photos, but, you know, 20 photos of you together is pretty decent. Now, that's just photos of you together going on vacation, eating together. Immigration would like to see photos of you, your spouse, and then with family. So at the time, I met my fiance. We went to school together. I studied in the Philippines for 4 years. We were classmates. So I met her family. So we had photos of us just of me meeting them for the first time, having dinner, getting close to them, and then graduation. We had photos of the family. It just looks good on you. If you can get photos of their family, I mean, it's not required. Let's say that they're not in good standings with their family. Just photos of you guys together will be fine. So what I did to assemble it is just on regular printer paper. I went to Walgreens and I just printed out all the photos and I just taped everything on the printer paper. And then underneath, I just wrote, you know, location, who was in each photo, you know, the date and whatnot, etc. That's photos. Pretty straightforward. Just photos of you guys together, proving that you guys are in a legit relationship. And then other proof of evidence was flight receipts. Like if you have to travel to a foreign country, keep your receipts, your itineraries of, you know, your airline tickets and stuff like that. Hotel receipts if you guys stayed at a hotel together. Or basically anything you purchase for the sake of being in a relationship. You know, hotel, going to the movies, ticket stubs, right? Receipts for dinner, you know, stuff like that. If you rented a van, I don't know if they give receipts or anything like that, but you know what? Just basically documentation that you guys spent something to be together. Okay. And then under that on my list, I had proof of an ongoing relationship. So when I graduated the Philippines, of course, I had to come back to the U.S. But we communicated with Facebook. I submitted screenshots of video calls and the duration, you know, 1 hour, 30 minutes or whatever. And then just screenshots of Facebook messages themselves. Chica messaging. Chica was a free texting app at the time. I was able to use it to text my fiance through her cell phone in the Philippines, but I don't know if it's active. But they have other free texting apps, but stuff like that. Basically a record of conversation since you last saw each other up to the application process. If you can submit proof of you guys discussing wedding plans and basic what you guys plan to do to get married, stuff like that. They just want to see that you guys have actually talked about getting married. Right? That's the purpose of this visa, allowing a foreigner to come to the U.S. to get married within 90 days. That's why it's called 90 days. They even have a show called 90 Day Fiance. That's what this is. And then underneath my proof of an ongoing relationship, I have the I-134 Affidavit of Support. Basically, this is the document proving that you can financially support your foreign spouse because if you can't support them, they're not going to prove them coming over. They cannot be a liability to the government. That's a no-no. You don't want to do that. So if you can't afford to support them or the application itself, you can have a co-sponsor. And pretty straightforward. You'll see it in the application. But basically, for my affidavit support, I was working a good job at the time. So I just submitted bank statements for the past 6 months, my 2 years worth of tax returns, pay stubs, and stuff like that. Basically, your proof of income that you make, and you want to prove that you can meet the financial requirements. Because I think they have financial requirements. It's like 30,000 or something like. It could be different. Again, this was 2016 that I submitted this. I was working at the hospital, so I made decent money. I was able to support her. Then underneath the affidavit, so that people get let me explain for people get confused between affidavit of support. There's two kinds of affidavits of support. There's the actual form itself, called the Affidavit of Support I-134, which is proof that you can financially support your spouse. And then there's the Affidavit of Support from family members or friends who write a letter who are close to you that basically then can testify that, yes, you guys are in a legit relationship, you guys really love each other, you're not just getting married for the foreigner to come to the U.S., because that's the thing, immigration fraud, that's still pretty big in the U.S., and you don't want to give the intention to the immigration officer that that's what you guys are doing. You want to prove that you have a legit relationship and that you're really going to get married and start a life here together. So that's the difference between the different. I never submitted a letter of affidavit of support from other people. It's not required. If your other evidence is strong enough, you don't need that. I see people on the Facebook groups all the time stressing, does it need to be signed, notarized, this and that? It's not required. Yeah, sure, it helps, but I don't know how much help it will do if your other evidence is just good. Again, I never used it. We got approved just fine. No RFE. You don't need it. And then underneath that, I have listed wedding plans, basically what I discussed earlier with the proof of an ongoing relationship, Facebook discussion. We got married in a court. We didn't have a fancy wedding because I couldn't afford it at a time. We want to get married as soon as possible. It was easy. I contacted a judge who does court weddings. It was cheap. It's like $120. Boom, boom. They do the ceremony, this and that. They cater how you want to do it. You want to make sure you have witnesses because you need a witness. You need two witnesses because they will sign the actual certificate that you'll take to the office to get your marriage license. Okay. So I submitted proof of that, the conversation between the judge, and then pictures of the wedding rings. So I was given wedding rings, so I didn't have proof of a receipt. I just inherited the rings. We ended up buying new rings once she got here. After they approved her K1 visa, before we got married, we went out and bought actual wedding rings that we put on each other during our wedding ceremony. But that's it. That's all I submitted. Pretty straightforward. It's so easy. I did everything myself. No lawyer. You don't need a lawyer. Don't complicate things. They can scam you. They can charge way more. It's already expensive as it is. You want to save money because there's after the K1 visa, you're not done yet. You still got the I-485 where you get your 2-year green card. And after 2 years, you got to apply for the I-751 removal of conditions to get your 10-year green card. This and that. Don't spend money on a lawyer. Do it yourself. It's so easy. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. You can reach out to me. I'll list my email. Again, this is super easy. Try not to stress. Be happy. You're engaged. Congratulations to you. I wish you guys the best. I wish you guys long-lasting happiness. This is just a temporary roadblock that once you get past it, you'll just feel good. It's a good feeling. You're gonna petition your spouse to come live with you in the U.S. hopefully for a better life. That's the purpose of doing this. So. I've rambled on long enough. I tried to make it short. It's already 12 minutes. You guys stay safe. Again, feel free to leave questions in the comments. And good luck. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the other content on this channel and show your support by leaving a like, comment, and subscribe. Maraming salamat.